Pujya Satsang. Starting as always with a question that's come in advance from our family, our audience joining us online. And then we open it up to any questions that anyone here might have. So just think, if you have a question, feel free to come up to either of these microphones and share it. The biggest disease in the world today seems to be what people will think or say. How to get rid of this disease and the thought patterns that go along with it. And this is asked by Parag Shah. So there's good news and there's bad news about this disease. And the disease, just to clarify, is the disease in which our mind constantly says, oh my God, what are other people going to say? Oh my God, what are they going to think about me? Oh my God, if I do this, maybe I'll be embarrassed. Maybe people will think I'm stupid. Maybe people will think badly of me. So the bad news, I'll give you the bad news first. The bad news about this disease is it is very highly contagious. If you spend too much time around people who have this illness, it's very likely you're going to catch it. So you want to be really careful about who you spend time around. Because the more people around you say, oh my God, log kya sochenge, log kya kahenge, what will they say, what will they think? You will notice that your mind will also start going in that direction. I noticed it when I came to India. I had spent the first 25 years of my life miraculously free of that particular disease. I had other issues. I had plenty of other struggles and whatnot, but one disease I did not struggle with was what people would think. I wasn't raised like that. I was raised in a very progressive thinking, a very individualistic, a very kind of self-empowered culture, not just family, but culture and education system in California that just, I don't ever remember my mother or my dad ever saying, oh my God, what are people going to say? It was much more the opposite, like, who cares what people will think? But I noticed just a year or two after being in India that suddenly I found myself thinking, oh, what are people saying? And immediately I thought, oh no, I've caught it. And so the bad news is it's contagious. But the good news is it is completely eradicatable. Completely. There are some diseases that tragically, even if you can remove the symptoms or prevent it from getting worse, the disease is always with you. This is not like that. You actually can eradicate this disease fully and completely. What it requires is really a couple of steps. The first step is simple awareness. Now, for me, it was easy because I had not come from it. And so I immediately noticed that there seemed to be this foreign, unfamiliar person who had taken over my brain, who actually cared what other people thought. And it felt so foreign to me and so uncomfortable to me, so much not like self. that I was able to just very quickly say, oh, wait, we don't want that inside. But if you've grown up with it, if it's been part of your culture your whole life, it's going to take an awareness of even noticing. How many times do you not say or do something that you really feel pulled to say or do because you're so worried about people thinking less of you? What if I'm embarrassed? What if it's stupid? What if they realize I'm stupid? So just mindfulness, just how much of my mind goes. How many of my decisions are made based on samne wale kya sochenge? And just notice it. Just notice it first. The second piece is introspection. It's what we would call swadhyay, study of the self. An important aspect of Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is not just scriptural study, it's self-study. And really ask yourself, is this my highest goal? Does this actually serve me on the deepest level? Or is this just thwarting me? Keeping me handicapped with a mental complex? Ask yourself. I'm not going to give you the answer, because it has to be something that you come to on your own. You're not going to let go of that diseased way of thinking just because I tell you to. You're only going to do it when you realize the unnecessary pain and suffering it causes you inside, and that it's totally unnecessary, and that it doesn't benefit you at all, but that you've actually been cultured to think like that. So really ask yourself, is it worth it? I mean, think about it. Okay, let's say you do everything right in your life. That every choice you make, every decision you make is one that other people say, wow, that's so great. What a wonderful decision. What a wonderful choice. What a wonderful life path. Is that your highest goal? At the end of your life, if lying on your deathbed, the highest thing you can say is, I made the neighbors happy. Is that what your life is for? Never took a risk. Nobody ever said anything badly about me. You know, I mean, one of the truisms about life is, if nobody's ever said something bad about you, in person, to your face, online, on social media, wherever it may be, you can be very sure that you're not doing big work, that you're not actually making much of an impact. Because the moment you do, even if whatever you do seems to be unequivocally positive, objectively good, you can be sure, if you're doing it in a big enough way, in an impactful enough way, there will be people who will talk nonsense about you. It is the nature of human nature. And what that means is, if you are committed to making no one speak badly about you, your highest goal, you can be very sure that you're not actually going to fulfill your highest dharma in life. You're not going to take risks. You're not going to think big. You're not going to put yourself out there in a vulnerable and courageous way. Because there is always someone prepared to say, look at her. Look at her. And either they're going to say, if you're actually doing everything right and they can't point their finger at something actually objectively that's wrong, then they'll say, oh, look at her. She thinks she's so great. Look at her. She thinks she's better than everybody. Right? That's the, I actually can't find anything bad to say about you, but I really want to say something bad. Cop-out criticism. Oh, look at him. He just thinks he's so great. Or maybe they actually can point their finger. Maybe they will say, oh, look at this thing he said. Look at what she did. But usually it comes with the, who does she think she is? Who does he think he is? Do they think they're better than other people? There's nothing concrete, nothing actually wrong. But the nature of human nature when I am not satisfied with myself is I need to put other people down. Right? It's like that great old story of the teacher who walks into a classroom and draws a line on the board and says, okay, pop quiz. Without using the eraser, you cannot use the eraser. They've drawn a line on the chalkboard. You cannot use the eraser. How to make the line smaller? Anybody remember this story? Huh? Yeah? What do you do? Huh? Exactly. Just draw a bigger line next to it. So those sorts of statements are the puffed up statements of, I really want to put you down, but I don't have any way to put you down. Therefore, I am going to stand here on the sidelines and puff myself up so that you can seem smaller. Haven't actually made you smaller. But if I make myself seem really big, then at least in my eyes, my mind, and maybe the couple people standing next to me, I can make you look smaller. It's nonsense. It achieves less than zero. Neither does it make you standing on the sidelines with a puffed up chest anything at all. Nor does it actually make that person smaller. They're going to keep doing it. I mean, every single super successful person I've met, whether politically, whether business-wise, whether spiritual leadership, whether social work, whatever field they're in, they all have one thing in common. None of them that I know even begins to read any of the nonsense written about them online or in the papers. No comments on social media posts, no comments on news stories, no bad press, because what every single one of them says is, it is just a complete and total waste of time and energy. Because we're human, we're not immune to it. If you hear someone say, oh, she's so stupid, she has no idea what she's talking about, she just thinks she's something. Or look at him, look at how he's gotten ahead. It hurts. We're not made of stainless steel or iron. We're humans, we're energetic beings, it hurts. And so the only choice that literally anyone I know who's reached that super highest level, one thing they all have in common is I've heard every one of them I know say, I never read. Never look at it. There's absolutely no point. People will always talk. And so the only way to free yourself from the disease is to realize this serves no purpose for me. I achieve nothing, even in my highest goal of making everybody like me. At the end of the day, what I've made them like is a shell of myself. they're not actually liking the deepest, fullest, real me, because I haven't shown them that. All I've shown them is an external shell that I think will please them. So I can't even feel deeply happy that they really like me. They just like the role, they like the show. And that's not satisfying on a deep level. It's like actors and actresses who know that all of their fan following is based on roles they play. It's why, everybody who hasn't actually seen the depth of Hollywood or Bollywood thinks, oh God, it would be so great to be a really successful actor or actress or model. And what you realize is it's actually very, very depressing on really deep levels unless you are super psychologically healthy. Because what you have is an entire fan following that is based 100% on a role you play, on what your physical body looks like, and that too these days airbrushed and tweaked and photoshopped and God knows what else. So you are beloved by God knows how many people who don't actually know you and who only love what you project on the screen. And it's an incredibly empty, lonely, depressing existence unless you are very deep, healthy, strong, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. So the same thing is true even if you're not famous at all. If people are only liking you because of the show you're putting on, don't think that's going to satisfy you. You know you're only putting on a show. So make sure that you really realize, let it go what they think. Let it go. You are not here to make everyone jealous of you or to make everyone clap for what you do. You are here to live your dharma, to shine your light, to be your fullest self. People are nice to you, great. They're not nice to you, great. It's a beautiful lesson. The lessons you learn when people are mean to you, you cannot learn when they're nice to you. Say thank you either way. They pay you a compliment, thank you. They insult you, thank you. You learn something different either way. And in both cases, you're given the opportunity to realize it's not about me. They loved it, they didn't love it. They like me, they hate me. It's all about them. And so both cases give you the opportunity to not take someone else's projection and to just stay anchored and grounded in your true self. Beautiful. Thank you, Parag. Other questions? Any question that, yes, of course, come.
Okay, so thank you for that answer. It gave me the courage to come up here and ask this question.
Wonderful.
So my question has to do with love and attachment. So I was sort of wondering, what is the difference between love and attachment? And also, can you love someone without being attached?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Love and attachment. a lot of us think attachment is a part of love. And sure, we become attached to those we love. It's normal. The more you love, the more you want to hold on to the loved one. But you have to be really careful, because attachment starts to suffocate and squeeze. Love is expansive. Attachment is contractive. Love opens your heart. Love makes you accept it all. When you're really in love, the loved one is on time, the loved one is late, the loved one looks wonderful, the loved one has just rolled out of bed on a day that they're sick, the loved one is like this, the loved one is like that. It doesn't matter. Love is expansive, it embraces, it loves in the essence. Attachment says, I need it like this. It better be like that. Do it like this. I need you in this way. So attachment actually suffocates us. And this is where it's really important to look at, it happens in relationships. Frequently we begin with just love. It's open-hearted, it's expansive, it's ecstatic. And then slowly, attachment goes in to how the other one behaves, to how they speak, to the choices they make. Did they remember to take out the trash? Slowly, that attachment, then it starts to suffocate. And then we wonder, what happened to the love? I fell out of love. You didn't fall out of love. You just started to be so attached that the attachment sucked all of the air out of the love. And this is why long before you think about divorce or breaking up, because if you leave someone, you lose everything, right? Then obviously they're not going to do anything you want. Ask yourself before you take that step, what if I just let go of some of the expectations I'm attached to? What if I just let go of some of these attachments? Would there be spaciousness into which love could flow and blossom again? Maybe not. Not true with every relationship. But with enough of them that it's always worth it. If you feel like I'm falling out of love, no longer love this person, used to love them, not anymore. Ask yourself, what have I started to be so attached to about how they should be, what they should do, that I no longer have the spaciousness to just love? So can you love without attachment? Absolutely, we should, ideally. That's when we speak about unconditional love. That's exactly unconditional love. Is I love you. And I certainly may have preferences. Like I would certainly prefer you to be on time than 2 hours late. I'd prefer you to be nice than not nice. I'd prefer you to do the things that you say you're going to do rather than flake on the things you say you're going to do. But I'm not so attached to that when you don't do them, I stop loving you. Or I stop loving myself and I lose my happiness, lose my joy, lose my peace. So absolutely the goal is to love without attachment. Now, the last piece about that, though, is attachment to the person itself. And that's natural. Obviously, the more we love someone, the more we want them there. But the highest form of love, we sing it in the Arti every night, Sabse Unchi Prem Sagai. The highest form of love is love for the divine. And the highest truth of every being is the divine in them. So if you're really loving them at their highest, truest peace, what you're loving is the divine in them. So if you can shift your love from their personality, their actions, their words, their story, to the divine in them, then the attachment to the physical presence of the body also gets less and less. Because you're able more and more to feel them with you regardless of where they are physically. Because you're connecting with that divine of them. Beautiful. Other questions? Yes. Just 1 second.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I am from Alandi. It's a Saint Gyaneshwarji's place where he took 700 years ago Samadhi. I want to know about Sanjeevan Samadhi more.
You want to know about?
Sanjeevan Samadhi.
Sanjeevan Samadhi. So, stay, yeah, okay. You want to know about it on what level? Meaning, what is it about it that troubles you? And I'm asking this specifically because I'm really clear this isn't a place just about general philosophy or general concepts. The question is always, and we talk philosophy, we talk concepts, we talk scripture, but it's always with an angle of how is this going to change me? How does this take me closer to the truth of me? So what is it about that is, like for example, as she asks about love and attachment, concepts, philosophy, and yet very clearly about our lives. How do I live differently? How can I love without being attached? Is it even possible? So we're learning and diving into aspects of our lives and our path. So share with me what aspect of this is troubling for you, or what aspect you feel that if you had more clarity, it would bring you greater freedom.
We live now in science era.
Yeah.
But the ancient science is that yoga and all about sadhana and bhakti, nam sankirtan. So our ultimate goal is to achieve that level in our life. So we have to do more and more sadhana, namasmaran, om dhyan.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So I want to know about...
So the goal is how to reach there?
Yes,
Is the
yes,
question how to
yes,
reach there?
yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad I clarified it. Okay, yes. Beautiful. Okay, now you can sit down. Okay. So how do we reach that place? And see, this is where it's so important, because otherwise if we're just talking philosophy, we get stuck in our heads. पाँच 10 मिनट के लिए मज़ा आता है, अच्छा इसके बारे में बात की, उसके बारे में बात किया, चलो वाह वाह वाह. But मुख्य बात यह है कि आपकी जीवन में क्या चेंज ले आएंगे. आप कैसे जीवन ऐसे जिएंगे जो जिस तरह से आप पहले जी रहे थे, उससे क्या फर्क होगा. आप जिस तरह से सोच रहे थे उससे क्या फर्क होगा आपके मन में. So to reach that state, which ultimately means this absolute union, absolute state of beyond just that which is here in the body, but that ultimate state of that union with the divine. We speak about it in yoga also. If you look at the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, the 8 limbs of yoga that Patanjali gave us, right? What's the 8th limb? Samadhi. Ultimate yogic union. So these aspects of Samadhi, how do we reach there? Well, through all of the practices that you've mentioned, but more than anything, is through a total and complete surrender. Because I can do all of that. I can do japa, I can do meditation, I can do puja, I can chant God's name. But if I keep thinking, I chanted God's name today more than you did. Look at how many times I chanted God's name today. In fact, I do nothing but chant God's name. That's all I do. Look how holy I am. Right? You're talking to me, but I'm just chanting God's name. If I'm stuck in that story, मैं कहीं नहीं पहुंचूंगी. I'm not going to reach anywhere. I chant God's name to remind me every minute, every moment, there is nothing but God. It's not chanting for chanting's sake. It's not that once your tongue has done enough japa, you are guaranteed samadhi. We chant it because when we don't chant, our mind wanders. And when our mind wanders, we know what kind of mess we end up in. So the chanting is to keep our mind on God. The puja is to remind us, to bring us to God. Everything we do is just to bring us to God, to remind us, to purify us. But ultimately, it takes surrender. Because if I don't let go of this story I'm telling myself, if I don't let go of this separateness of self, I'm never going to be able to merge. Samadhi is that merging, that drop merging into the ocean. But if I don't let go of my dropness, it can't merge into oceanness. So you've got to be prepared to surrender and let go. Let go of that I. A beautiful practice is what I referred to actually just a few minutes ago, but without naming it, and it's that practice of neti neti, meaning not this, not this. I'm not, you're appreciating me, feels good, but I'm not this. You're insulting me, feels bad, but I'm not this. And you just keep remembering, not this, not this. So whatever you're doing, remind yourself, I am not this. I am not this. Neti neti. Not the one being praised. Not the one being insulted. Not the one achieving. Not the one failing. Not the one angry. Not the one happy. Neti neti. I am none of this. I am the one who is aware that there is this thing happening in my brain, that there is this thing happening in the biochemistry of my body. I'm the one who's aware. I am that light of awareness, untouched by what I'm shining upon, but shining upon all. You're already there. Samadhi is not someplace you go to. It's an experience of who you are already, minus the illusion. So do all of those things. They're brilliant for purifying the mind. But ultimately, just allow yourself to fully surrender. Anytime you find yourself saying, I am, just stop. I am angry. I am good at this. I am bad at this. I am fat. I am beautiful. I am ugly. Just stop. You are none of those things. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And just keep surrendering. Just keep surrendering. And it'll happen. It'll happen. Beautiful. Have a beautiful rest of your evenings. And I look so forward to being together again tomorrow. And have a beautiful, beautiful night. And so much love to you all.